Welcome, everyone. This is Jermaine Jackson, sports producer here at Daybreak Star Radio, the only station indigenizing the airwaves. And today, we are honored to be joined by a star both on and off the court, Noelani Cornfield. One of the most dynamic guards in basketball, a native of Gowanda, New York. Her journey has taken her from winning a national championship at Florida to making her mark at Southern Miss to leading Buffalo to a record 30 wins and a WNIT championship. She was named to the MAC All-Defensive Team and ranked among the nation's best in assists and steals. She reunited with her coach in Arizona, bringing her veteran leadership and elite two-way gameplay to the Big 12. We are excited to get an inside look at her journey. Noelani, welcome. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. So to start things off, could you please introduce yourself to our listeners and let them know which nation or tribe you represent?
Yes, my name is Noelani Cornfield. I'm of the Haudenosaunee Confederacy of the Seneca Nation. Grew up there, still living there. They're on the reservation, Cattaraugus Indian Reservation, so it's kind of where I'm from. So,
when did you first discover your love for basketball, and what initially drew you to the sport?
Yeah, so my mom had us in like every sport you could think of. She kind of just let us kind of choose our own route and whatever else. We started playing basketball at a very early age. Both my parents were in the military, and so at the time they were stationed in Korea, and so we were out there at the age of 2 to like 4, and so she had us in like just like a toddler basketball league thing going on. So that's kind of where we started. But I guess from there she kind of just kept us in little league stuff. Playing with some boys, and just, yeah. We played lacrosse growing up. We grew up playing with our friends and everything. We had a whole team on the reservation or whatever else. But my heart was just for basketball, and I guess it was ever since it was put in my hands at the age of 2, 3, however long. So.
Yeah, lacrosse is pretty big over there on the East Coast, huh?
Yeah.
Yep. So you've had an incredible journey from high school to Florida to Southern Miss to Buffalo, Arizona. Looking back, what have been the biggest lessons or lesson you've learned at each stop along the way?
Yeah, I actually am very grateful of my journey and my path, and I'm really grateful of all the people I've come across, especially because everywhere that I was, it was different cultures. Like it was cultural shock after cultural shock, and especially coming from New York, and so I feel like I learned a lot just from a worldly view, societal, just kind of just figuring out, because in the world of basketball, you're meeting people from overseas, different states, West Coast, East Coast, North, South. So it was nice to be able to kind of just observe and kind of adapt to just different environments and whatever else. But I'm happy to say that I learned a lot from each stop, whether it's from the coaches, whether it was from peers, whether it was just from the environment. I can't give you a specific thing because there's so much I have learned, but I think from my stops and my time spent at each stop, I like to say that I was definitely a sponge.
So you started playing sports young. Who were some of your role models growing up?
I'd say I didn't really have an athlete role model. I did I really loved Jude and Shoni Schimmel. They actually came to our reservation when I was younger, and I thought Shoni was I thought she was so good. But yeah, I kind of just I grew up, trying to, watch Allen Iverson, Kyrie, just kind of just be I'm little, I'm a little guard. And so I was just kind of watching other professional little guards. And so, but I think especially from a native standpoint, I think Shoni Schimmel was really the one that I really liked to watch.
So you started your career at a powerhouse junior college, and you won a national championship and, NIT championship. How did that experience when you first started off and, shape your mindset and prepare you for D1 basketball?
I'm very grateful to have been at that stop, number one JUCO in the country. At that time, I'm sure they still are right now. But I mean, my coach's standards from just how we practiced, how he coached. Every practice, he always said, "This is what you're gonna do at D1. This is what you're gonna do at D1. This is what they expect at D1." It was always something that he talked about. He was always trying to make sure that we were prepared and ready for whatever was to come. And he was on us. He was a top coach. He taught us discipline. He taught us, the importance to attention to detail. And his attention to detail is what stuck with me with attention to detail, especially as a point guard. Like, I have to see a lot of things and whatever else and know a lot of things. And so just kind of how he, just kind of the standard that he held all of his staff and his players to, it's kind of what stuck with me to be able to carry that into whatever stop I was with next, whether that was Southern Miss, whether that was Buffalo, that kind of just championship mindset and that championship work ethic of what comes to do those things and what's required to make those things happen is what stuck with me. And
so let's go over to Buffalo. You won the WNIT, you got all defensive team honors. What made that season so special for you and your teammates?
Yeah, Coach Burke is not the easiest coach, and she's a great coach, but she's gonna hold us to the exact same standard she holds herself to, and she's the type of coach that she'll get up every morning at 5 a.m. doing her workouts. But if we have a 6 a.m. practice, she's up at 4 a.m. doing her workout. So all the things that she's holding us to, she's doing herself in life. And so that's something that you just have to respect. You can't even try to complain about it. She played at a Power 5 level. She knew exactly what it took to make it to the NCAA tournament, make it to the Final Four. She played with Shoni and Jude. So, she, like, everything that she did at Louisville, she translated to Buffalo. And what she required of us, honestly, I don't think was a lot. But she just wanted us to work hard, get down to the nitty gritty and do the things that whatever. But on top of those things, she let us play. She wanted us to have fun with this. She wanted us to, celebrate, make it fun while also winning. So, and if we didn't win, then that was something we didn't want to look forward to.
Yeah, I believe that. So let's talk about your defense, because obviously you're all defensive team. What do you credit for your growth as a floor general and a defender?
It's so funny because I always say, like, when I was younger, like my older brother and I, like, growing up, we were always in our backyard playing one-on-one, like, and whatever else. And I remember, like, he told me one day, like, he's like, you gotta have crazy defense. Like, you gotta be going crazy, like, kind of scare the offender or whatever. But I don't know. I've always been, like, super quick with my feet. My lateral movement was pretty good, and I'm a pretty fast learner, and so I think when we're watching film or watching whoever I'm guarding, players tend to have tendencies, players tend to have patterns, and so I kind of just pick up on those pretty quickly, and I kind of I can just tell what they're about to do, or what move they want to do, and so it just and I learned, like, those techniques where you watch the hips, watch the belly button, whatever, because wherever their hips go, they're going to go. And so just little things like that is kind of what keeps me in front. But I'm small and quick. And so it's harder for, someone who's not as quick to get past me. But and then as far as the floor general, like I said, I've been to a lot of stops. I've played under a lot of great coaches, and I've watched a lot of basketball growing up. Watching my mom recorded all of our games growing up. And so after every game, I would literally be watching it back, figuring out what I needed to do, what I did right, what I did wrong. I always grew up watching games, and so just kind of just watching and learning, and then just applying it, seeing whatever, reading stuff. And so I think, and too, at my JUCO, like, he was very big on the point guard being that general, and, like, knowing what to do, telling people where to go, like, just kind of being in control. And so he was really hard on me about that, and I kind of, that was something that I wanted to be great at, and that's something that I wanted to, I wanted to be a great point guard. And so I just kind of learning, trying to do my best, but I learned the game.
Yeah, looking back, when I was playing in high school, that's what kind of one of my strong points as well was defense and rebounding. And I was also quick on my feet. I wasn't the tallest, but I was like strong and quick as well. So when you're, like, on the court and you're getting ready to guard the best player, the best scorer on the other team, like, what's your mindset, like, going into that game or, starting in that game when you're
my mindset is I'm not worried about them. Like, I'm so confident in my defense that, like, yep. I genuinely, like, I'm not worried about it all. And usually I am guarding the best player. Like, I'm usually one of the best defenders on the team, and so I'm usually guarding one of the best players. But like I said, I pick up on patterns really well. The best of players have patterns. The best of players have tendencies, and there's always something that is a weakness, and I usually am able to exploit them. And so I'm never really ever nervous. Of course, I'm nervous for the team outcome and what we're going to do as a team, and what we need to do. But my matchup, no, I go in there pretty confident.
Sound like, yeah, you're definitely confident. Sound like you got that dog in you. You ready to go. Mentality. So was there a moment in your basketball career, like a game, a play, or a decision that stands out as a turning point for you?
I'd probably say sometime during my time at Southern Miss, I got a lot of compliments on just kind of how I play. It was fun to watch. Things were different when I was on the court, yada yada. But I kind of just like I'm a team player as a point guard, but I think like in terms of just like what I wanted to do with my playing style and kind of my future and whatever else, I think was probably my last year at Southern Miss and going to Buffalo. And I think honestly that's why I had such a breakout year at Buffalo. Because one, like, my coach, she knew the environment that I would thrive in. She knew the type of playing style that I would thrive in, and she kind of just adapted that. And she actually said it during one of the pregame interviews, was like how she's kind of altered her offense around me just because of how well I worked in the open floor and just how fast we wanted to play. And so I think it was probably, my second year at Southern Miss. I really was like, I had these goals and aspirations for myself.
How have you stayed adaptable and, continue making an impact no matter where you go, whenever you go from one program to the next?
It's funny you ask that because I've always been somebody, especially at like a younger age, like starting off my college career, I've always been somebody that hated change. I never wanted to move again. I never wanted to reconnect make relationships with teammates and do all of these things.
Yeah.
But I knew that no matter where I went, the coaches believed in me. They wanted me for some reason. And at the same time as me being humble, I also knew my abilities and I also knew what I also brought to the table. And just kind of just like, I always asked questions. I always made sure that I understood the program. I always made sure I understood what they wanted out of the team. I spoke to the coach. Like I always made sure to just figure out the chemistry that needed to be made with my teammates, with the coaches. Because at the end of the day, like the point guard has to be an extension of the coach. And so I always made sure that was there, regardless of relationship, regardless of whatever. I always made sure to know like what the goal was on the court.
What does it mean to be a role model for young athletes back at home?
Oh my gosh, man, it's been so big. I'm so glad that I was able to what I thought was my last year of college last year. I was really happy to be playing back at home. My community was so supportive. I'm so thankful and grateful how much support they've shown me and how many games they've come to and shown up for, and like they're always the loudest in the crowd. And so I really made it a point to show my gratitude and give back. And the preparation of a camp that I'm doing for my community back home, it'll be in August when I go back after our summer session. But just in it, it's kind of just, for the kids, I have age groups 5 to 8 and 9 to 12 for free. And just, I wanted them, I know how much they look up to me and I know how much my community sees me as a role model. And so I want to be able to be that and show the kids that it doesn't matter like who comes out or who doesn't come out, like anybody can. And so
looking at your career, like I know at Buffalo you went over 1,000 points, like over 500 assists, or at least in your career. What personal achievement are you most proud of so far in your basketball journey?
I honestly the biggest achievement, honestly, that I'm actually really proud of myself is just the growth. I think in the drastic jump that I made from Southern Miss to Buffalo, I think I always was a pass first point guard, and I can say I still am, but I really I was very conscious and intentional with trying to score more and be able to be multiple threats on the court. And I'd like to say honestly that I'm most proud of is kind of just my ability to control the tempo. I have complete control of how the game is run in terms of our team and on whatever team I'm on. And I think probably my assists, I'm always regardless of anything, the first thing I want to see is how many assists I have. I obviously everybody would love to score double-digit points and do all of these things, but the first thing I'm always looking for is assists because I'm the point guard. That's what I'm supposed to do. And so I think also what I'm really proud of is I had multiple games of 10 plus assists. And I will say that. I'll say that my biggest achievement is having the 15 assists in the UMass game, the WNIT tournament.
Okay. It definitely sounds like you are a team player, right?
Yeah.
What advice would you give to young Native girls even back in, at the res, who dream of playing college basketball, but they might feel like, it's out of their reach. They might have, problems at home, parents, they're going through different stuff, and they might be like feeling like alone. So what advice would you give to some of them?
My advice to them would probably be to just stay the course, like on the inside, like regardless of what's going on the outside, you can only control what you can control. And I that took me a little bit to realize as well, and to kind of stick with that saying, because like there's so many outside factors that could affect you, how you carry yourself, how you act, how you mental, and like 90% of the basketball game or whatever sport is mental. And so if you're not mentally healthy, if you're not confident in what you can do or what you want to do, then it will most likely be less than what you want. And so I'll probably say to dream big and like stay big. You work towards that goal regardless of whatever else, regardless of whoever else is saying something, like if they can't do it, yada yada, like it doesn't matter, because there's always someone from somewhere that has done it, and why not be you? So
yeah, why not you? If somebody else could do it, then you could do it.
Right.
And dream big and stay dreaming big.
Yep.
Right? Yeah, I like those quotes. So finally, looking to the future for you. So what are some of your goals on and off the court in your near future?
Yeah, I've actually been I actually have a meeting coming up later in the day today. Like I'm really trying to get out into the Indigenous community here in Tucson and like really connect with the tribes out here, or whatever businesses or community centers they have going on for the youth and whatever else. And I know Native American Heritage Game is really big here, and of course with all the tribes and whatever. So I'm really trying to get my name out there and just connect with the community and what I can do to just kind of interact and just kind of merge the two whatever. So
Noelani, appreciate you taking the time to speak with us, and we hope you are blessed with much more success in all your future endeavors.
Thank you so much. I'm really happy. Thank you for having me.